Why am I here on a Sunday when I could be at brunch? Grew up in the 11th most conservative city in the United States, and for the longest time had to deal with racism at every single level of government. So Ammar came along, and I see a lot of inspiration in him as the person that needs to lead the district.
For 20 years, I came here to Duncan Hunter land whenever Duncan let me in. And this has been a district that has been well served for many, many years by a conservative voice in Washington.
When I made the decision to step down from radio, Duncan Hunter was saying he wasn't going anywhere. I'm proud of the fact that my campaign has generated enthusiasm, breaking records for Republicans and Democrats in terms of the amount of money raised, not the big bucks. No, not writing the big $1 million, $2 million check.
I guess the question is, when he waved at both of us for big bucks, could he tell us which one of us he meant?
Oh, I don't think I need to respond to big bucks.
Okay. I think the fact is...
I drive a 2002 Chevy Tahoe with 300,000 miles on it, so
I'll be voting on election day, yes.
And who will you be supporting?
I'll be supporting Brian Jones to replace the seat of Duncan Hunter.
And who did, if you don't mind me asking, who did you support in the past? So would you typically vote for Duncan?
I would vote for Duncan, yes.
What voters can expect, particularly in the 50th Congressional District, is the outcome of the mail ballots will show pretty much the overall results of how the election will swing. Depending on who and how close the contest is, may go all the way to the wire.
Dear Charles, thank you for supporting Carl DeMaio. I hope you can attend one barbecue event this week, and please remember to vote next week. Don't vote for the other guy. Hi, I'm Rob Davis, and I'm helping support Carl DeMaio's campaign for Congress.
It's all fun. You know, they're just not used to anyone calling them out on their bullshit. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Darrell Issa is a swamp creature trying to lie his way back into office. Together we can!
I think people are really tired of the negative cloud that's been looming over the 50th for many years, whether it's the scandal of Hunter or the negative attacks between Issa and Carl. And they just are tired of that kind of negativity sucking up all the oxygen in the room. They want a breath of fresh air, and that's what I'm here to offer them.
Anything else I should know from the two of you before Super Tuesday?
Darrell's gonna win.
From his lips to God's ears. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right here? Yeah. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, repeat after me. State of California.
State of California.
State of California. County of San Diego.
The County of San Diego.
I do hereby.
I do hereby.
Solemnly declare that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Solely declare that I will
Support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
I further affirm that I am a citizen of the United States of America. Okay, 7 o'clock, guys. Ready?
Hear ye, hear ye.
The polls are now open!
Yay!
Well, I've seen my name on the ballot several times. Actually, the cool thing this morning was bringing my family with me and having them vote as well. And being in my neighborhood, usually our polling place is a little bit of a drive away, so we live right around the corner. But it's pretty exciting to be running for Congress and knowing that there's a possibility I'm going to be able to serve with the president and hopefully a Republican majority next year. I think tomorrow there's going to be a big sigh of relief and a breath of relief. If you got them each individually, I think they would say I would hope that they had some regrets on some of the things that was said and done. I'm a team player. I always have been, and I think that's been one of the points I've been trying to make to the voters is I'm here, I'm in the district. If the voters choose somebody else, then so be it, and we'll move on, and I'll continue serving in the Senate and be happy about it.
And how do you think the district's feeling this morning?
I think Republicans are feeling probably a little nostalgic that they won't be able to vote for Hunter for the first time in 40 years. I think they probably feel a little, sad about the change. They're probably annoyed about the bickering. I know some of them are voting for me, so that's good. Bye, Mom. Love you too.
Love you, Dad. Okie dokie.
I think today is going to show that, when you go vote and you go vote, and I hope you guys take that piece and say, you had a hand in making history happen. Because it's something special. It doesn't happen that often that a campaign like ours is playing a role in a district like this one. Like tonight, we can't be sore winners, If we win, we can't just rub it in their face. It's gonna be tough.
I'm sorry.
You're like, oh, I can't promise you that one. But we have to try to have that compassion, because tomorrow, some of the people that we've been fighting with for the past year might join our campaign tomorrow. And so we have to leave that space for compassion, give them that opportunity to come on over and not feel defensive about, well, that person, they don't see me. Good morning, gentlemen. I just wanted to introduce myself real quick. I'm Ammar Campa-Najjar, running for Congress.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to just say hi and introduce myself. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good.
Pleasure. How's it going?
How are you?
Good. The election's today, so I wanted to just make one last pitch to you guys that I'm running. And you did?
Yeah.
Well, after the election, if I wasn't your pick, I don't know who you voted for. Did you vote for somebody else?
I'm a Republican.
That's totally fine. My stepdad's a Republican too.
Yeah.
I was gonna just say, so check this out. That's me and Trump.
Oh, wait.
So you're wondering how a Democrat would reach across the aisle to get things done. And so,
Oh, now that's cool.
so how many
Wow.
Democrats do you know would be willing to work with the president, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Give me an honest look, and I'll be there. If the president wins this election, which I think you think he is,
Yeah.
I'll be there working with him, and I'll be working
Okay.
for you. So
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be quite frank. You got a lot of balls coming.
thank you, appreciate it.
I mean, that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
Help me send my big balls to Washington. You'll see what I'll do over there. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Really encourage you to vote for Carl. Do not believe the attack ads against him. They are all false. They are lies. Find out Carl's position for yourself.
These are all voters who've told one of my canvassers that they were undecided in the past 6 weeks. That's who I'm talking to. And they're all talking to people who told my canvassers that they were going to vote for me. We're just trying to get these people to turn out. Hi, I'm trying to reach the Bilodeau residents.
Thank you so much.
This is Carl DeMaio calling personally, the candidate for Congress in El Cajon. How are you? I'm calling because I'm just wanting to make sure that you all have any information for me that you need to make an informed decision for Congress, and happy to answer questions. There's been a lot of misinformation in the mailers, and just want to make sure you hear directly from me if you have any questions. Issa. Yeah. I know.
If you could use your imagination for me, I know you have a very vivid one. If you can think about tonight, this room, what it will look like, and more importantly, what it will feel like. Could you describe it for me?
I won't even imagine that. We're still working too hard. My head's still in the game right now, turning out the vote and talking to any undecided voters to make sure we answer their questions so that they can cast an informed ballot.
Okay, that is classic that you won't go there with me, that you want to get back on the phone.
Exactly.
If there's anything I've known
You
from
got
you
work
for,
to do,
for
dude.
15 years, you're like,
Yeah. Cool?
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
The candidates running for the 50th spent Super Tuesday crisscrossing the district, dialing undecided voters, and making last-ditch efforts at advancing to the November runoff. As the sun began to set on the district and on a long and grueling primary battle, voters were at the ballot box. They were sending the country a message about who they wanted to replace the disgraced Congressman Duncan D. Hunter. At campaign headquarters in Escondido and El Cajon, supporters of Carl DeMaio and Ammar Campa-Najjar waited with bated breath for the first round of election results to come in when the polls closed at 8 p.m.
Hey, everybody, I don't know if I've met all of you, but I think I've met at least many of you at some point over either the past campaign or the past campaigns, the stuff that we've worked on. I'm Dave McCulloch. I'm Carl's communications director. What's going to happen in the next hour or so? A little over an hour. So Carl is he's going to be looking at the results as they come in. Every time another batch of results comes in, we have a better understanding of where we are, where we're going to be. So that first batch is going to tell us something, and we may be, so I warn you, we may be down when the numbers first come in. That's nothing to be scared of. That's nothing to be scared of. In fact, it's kind of what we're expecting. We are expecting that those numbers might be down a little bit, but as the next batch of numbers come in, the next one, we do expect to see that go up. We do expect to see some positive results. It is a very, very close race. Nothing has changed about that. Like to the point of it may be within 1%. That's 1,500 votes.
And it's right here, live tonight in Oklahoma with Ammar Campa-Najjar, who just arrived here along with
I'm feeling great. Are you guys fired up?
It's happy campus for a reason. We're happy warriors. We know we're going to be doing well in the primary, not because, we earned it. Everyone here has been working every single moment until the polls close. They've given me their labor, their love, their days, their nights, everything. And we're finally going to take this seat back and give it back to an East County son. We're not going to let some politician pick their voters. The voters are going to pick their politician in the 50th.
24.3% of the vote. Issa right now, if the trends hold for the rest of the night and the 30-day certification, Darrell Issa will be the one who goes as the front runner to November in the 50th. Campa-Najjar with 35%, Darrell Issa with 24%, Carl DeMaio with 22%. There's only 2% that separate these guys right now, so we'll have to see how the trends hold. It's not going to be over immediately, but at the moment, Issa is ahead of DeMaio by 2% in the 50th. Lou, what do you think?
Yeah, you're looking at
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, because they've had a race to the bottom the whole time, and we've had a race to the top. And nothing breeds success like success. We've been positive this whole time, and people are rewarding it. So thank you guys so much for keeping it positive. And all those people that you see that are not in the second place, everyone on down, all those people, if it holds this way, we're going to have to welcome them into this campaign.
Hey, Mr. Issa, for the Union-Tribune, Philip Omar, I wonder if we can interview you real quick.
Oh, you would do it the other candidate, remember?
No, well, I did. That was the newsroom. So how are you feeling right now, seeing the results coming in?
I'm feeling like I'm looking forward to seeing them all come in.
Okay, and how do you feel about how the race was run so far?
Right. Come on up. I just want to say to everyone, the energy, the enthusiasm, the drive, the absolute breadth of this movement has been astounding from day one. And that is what I believe, in the end, is going to propel us to ultimate victory in this race once every single ballot is counted.
I feel bad for Carl DeMaio. I don't know why. I just think he just worked so hard.
You said it.
I know, but it's just like he works so hard, and then Issa just drops $3 million and like eats bonbons for months, and then gets the second slot potentially. Like everyone asks him, "Why are you running again? You were there for 20 years. What is it you're going to do in another term that you couldn't have done in 20 years? Why would you give you a job again if you couldn't do what you want to do in 20 years?" And his response is, I want to fight and defend Trump. Trump's a big boy. He doesn't need Darrell Issa to take care of him. I'm shocked that voters were like in that restaurant were like, a politician has never just come up to me and introduced himself. And a politician has never come up to me and said, "You're my boss. I'm your employee, and you pay taxes, and that means that I answer to you. That's the job." And it's just such a simple touch. It makes you wonder, what the hell was Hunter doing all those years?
Congressman, I don't know if I catch you tonight. No?
No, but
You don't want to stop and chat?
no, we've chatted a lot.
We have, but tonight's a special night for you, isn't it?
Is the camera running?
Yeah.
Then no thanks.
Why not?
Turn the camera off.
Well, no, the whole purpose of
night.
talking to you is on camera.
This is wonderful. I've just finished a bunch of interviews. you haven't shown any of these, and quite frankly, the Union-Tribune has endorsed a different candidate. So the Union-Tribune did not support me in my race 4 years ago, and I appreciate that you're doing the 50th, but I've seen what you've done up until now, and so far I'm not impressed with it.
All right. Thank you for your time. In the waning days of the primary campaign, Issa made it clear that he felt he wasn't getting a fair shake from my newspaper. He was especially perturbed that he didn't receive the endorsement of the paper's opinion section. At this point, I'd been asking for a sit-down interview with the congressman since before the campaign even began, a request that was repeatedly declined. But the morning after the election, as I sat down with his footage, Issa called me on my cell phone. He apologized for the way things went down on election night, and after some back and forth, we agreed that we'd finally do that interview.
How much time do you have, Congressman?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
3?
3? We can spend a little time together, right?
Yeah, that's all I have to do is dial for millions of dollars I need to raise.
Election night seemed to go very well for you. And I know you got a lot of friends on the Hill still. We saw you out with Representative Jordan and with Council Steve Castor this past weekend. I'm wondering, was your phone blowing up with like messages from the Hill, from DC?
At any given time, I probably had 30 texts that I hadn't yet answered on election night and well into the next day, with about 100 members of Congress that formally endorsed me, and even more former members. It's been pretty busy, but this is this is sort of one of those things where you build relationships over years, and those relationships stay.
Okay, when you reflect on, and we haven't spent too much time harping on the primary, but when you reflect on it, I mean, do you feel like you ran a campaign that you're really proud of?
I ran a necessary campaign. Anyone that looks back on races such as Carl DeMaio's mayor's race or his last race for Congress with Scott Peters knows that you have to do what you have to do when Carl does what he does, and that's just pretty easy to understand. The history of those races would tell you that they were no different than this one.
Have you reached out to Carl at all, or do you plan to try to mend fences and see if he can help going forward?
He hasn't given up the fight. He's still fundraising and telling people that he might win.
Okay. And you expect this phase of the campaign to be more positive?
I'm hopeful. Ammar at KUSI said he wouldn't draw first blood. That doesn't happen to be true in his race with Duncan Hunter. They did get pretty dirty. He regularly used Duncan Hunter with bars in front of him, and took advantage of the fact that he was indicted in the last, during that critical period of the campaign. So we'll see. The issues will be different. I certainly am not going to hold it against him that he's an Arab American if he doesn't hold it against me that I'm an Arab American.
There will be no claims that Ammar Campa-Najjar is a terrorist in this race.
Not unless he acts like one. No, it's very clear that we have both been, if you will, accused in races of being aligned politically in some way because of our Middle East backgrounds, and that's always offensive if there isn't any substantiation. So. I'm used to it, he's used to it, and it's probably pretty illogical for either one of us to be in the middle of it. But we'll see. You never know until something happens.
Congressman Hunter's sentencing is approaching. Do you think the president should commute his sentence?
I think the system is supposed to go through its process, and I expect it will. I've never been one to comment on directly on somebody's sentence or whatever, and I don't think this would be an appropriate place to do it.
What have I not asked you about that you would like to talk about? What have I missed?
I'm sure there'll be another chance.
John, anything I've missed?
No.
You've probably got a lot of work to do, right? You got to dial for dollars now? Oh, I'm sorry, I did have one other question that I told John I was going to ask, and I thought it was on my list. How much, you invested $3 million of your own money, right?
It's, look, there's nothing to be talked about there. You know, the amount of money spent on both sides was roughly the same in this case, and you know, I've always thought it was a little crazy to argue over whether or not the source of money makes much difference. Carl had over $1 million coming in from outside groups that had campaigned against President Trump. If it wasn't covered during the race, it's not worth covering now.
I was simply going to ask, do you plan to invest more of your own money in the general, and sort of, if so, how much are you sort of?
No, I don't plan to.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Do appreciate all the time.
No problem.